Krea 2 Identity Edit version 1.2 is here, and this update rounds out its character editing features in a much more complete way. It can now do more than just swap faces. You can swap an entire head, or even replace the whole person in an image. It also adds a mask feature, but keep in mind that this mask works differently from the inpainting masks we normally use. Finally, it now supports the character sheets we commonly work with. That said, supporting a feature doesn't necessarily mean every part of it is already perfectly stable. In this video, I'll use a fixed seed to test face swapping, head swapping, full person replacement, identity strength enhancement, the new mask feature, and character sheets. Some of the results are very straightforward, while others, in my opinion, may require a few rerolls before you get the best result. Since we previously covered version 1.1, let's start with a quick recap. This is an open source community LoRa built on Krea 2. Its goal is to turn Krea 2 into a character image editor that can understand natural language instructions. Installation is actually pretty simple. Clone the entire repository into ComfyUI's custom nodes folder, then restart ComfyUI. The developers specifically note that it doesn't require any additional Python dependencies. You'll also need to download the Krea 2 Identity Edit version 1.2 LoRa that we're covering today. For easier testing, I've also built this workflow on Running Hub in the ComfyUI space. Running Hub is a great online working platform because whenever a new model or extension is released, the platform usually adds support for it very quickly. Running Hub also provides an online community for ComfyUI creators, where you can find plenty of creative inspiration and example workflows. The workflow I built uses the FP8 version of the Krea 2 Turbo model, together with QW3VL as the text encoder. There are several VAE options, but I recommend two of them, QW Image VA and v1.2 VAE. This workflow may look like it contains a lot of nodes, but only two of them are truly essential. The first is Krea 2 Edit Model Patch. This node injects the reference image's appearance, composition, and character information into the model. The second is Krea 2 Edit Grounded Encode, which is essentially a text encoder. However, it doesn't only process our editing instructions, it also reads the reference image, which is why it uses the QW3 VL text encoder. QW3VL is a vision model, so it can understand image content. Now let's see exactly what the new Krea 2 Identity Edit can do. We'll start with the simplest feature, single image editing. I have a reference image of a beautiful woman in traditional Chinese clothing. Our goal is to place the same character on a decorated boat at dawn, sitting in front of a painting table and working on a painting. At the same time, we need to preserve her face, hair accessories, and gray embroidered outfit. Let's quickly review how to write the prompt. I normally divide it into three parts. First, clearly state what needs to be changed. Second, specify what needs to be preserved. Third, exclude anything that absolutely must not appear. You can also describe the desired final state. I'm using the Turbo model here. So I'm running 10 sampling steps with CFG set to 1.0. After running the workflow, we get this result. The image has moved into a completely new scene on a lake aboard a decorated boat. The pose composition and lighting have all changed significantly, while the hair accessories and clothing we asked it to preserve remain fairly complete. Next, let's look at something many of you will care about. What exactly is the difference between swapping a face, swapping a head, and replacing the entire person? First, be aware that this is a multi-image reference workflow because it now supports two images. In my first image, we have a woman with a light blonde low ponytail, wearing a blue cheapah. The second image shows a woman with warm brown twin braids and light, wispy bangs. We can write a prompt asking the model to replace only the person's face. Take a look at the result. The specific facial features from the second image have been transferred, but the low ponytail, blue cheapah, and gray background from image 1 have largely been preserved. Now let's try replacing the head this time. We explicitly tell the model in the prompt to replace the entire head. In the generated result, both the facial features and the bangs have been transferred. However, everything below the neck is still preserved, including the blue sipao, pearl necklace, body, and background. For the third test, we'll replace the entire person. This time, the hairstyle, face, and black off the shoulder dress have all been transferred from the second image. The original blue cheapao is gone. These two examples demonstrate both single image and multi-image editing, but whichever mode you use, there are still quite a few parameters. Some of them are essential, so let's go through the ones you really need to understand. The first parameter is called RefiBoost. You can think of it as the strength of the appearance constraint from the reference image. The higher this value is, the harder the model tries to extract identity and appearance information from your reference image. For this test, I'll lock the prompt, seed, resolution, and every other parameter. The only thing I'll change is RefiBoost, testing it at 1, 4, and 12. These are also reference values recommended by the developers. When RefiBoost is set to 1, the general character type is still recognizable, but the facial features are noticeably different from the reference person. Once we raise it to 4, the face, hairstyle, and even the blue-gray clothing become much closer to the reference image. When we increase it again to 12, the similarity improves a little further, but the difference is no longer as obvious. In normal use, I recommend starting at 4 by default. That usually gives you a good result. Next, let's look at the reference image mode. We have two options here, Fit and Crop. Their names already give us a good idea of what they do. Fit adapts the complete image, while Crop cuts into it. Let's look at the Fit result first, followed by the Crop result. Both outputs have generated a horizontal scene, even though our reference image is vertical. The real difference is how much information about the original character the model is able to read. Notice that in the Fit result, the clothing has a much stronger connection to the outfit in our reference image. In the Crop result, the subject is larger, but the clothing no longer has much relation to the original reference. If you want to preserve a wider range of information from the reference image, use Fit. If your target is closer to a tight facial close-up, Crop may be more useful. Now let's examine another parameter called RefiBoosty Mask. Remember, this is different from an inpainting mask. It doesn't tell the model which parts of the output image may be edited and which parts must remain unchanged. Instead, it controls the strength of the model's attention. Any area covered by this mask receives more attention from the model. Let's run a test. This is our original image featuring a beautiful woman in a kimono, and the prompt asks the model to change her outfit. We'll set RefiBoost to 1. One version will use the mask while the other will run without it. You'll notice that the two results are almost identical, which makes it look as though the mask isn't working, but the mask itself isn't the problem. When RefiBoost is set to 1, there is no actual enhancement being applied, so the mask has nothing to amplify. Now let's change RefiBoost to 4. This time, the immediate impression is that the generated image aligns almost perfectly with the original. The reason this happens is that the face receives much stronger consistency through the mask. Next, let's test the boundary between two people when using two reference images. First, remember the image order. The first image must be the scene, and the second image must be the reference character you want to insert. Don't reverse them, because this order is explicitly defined in the code. Our first image shows two separate people, one on the left and one on the right, standing inside an art gallery. My prompt is very simple. Replace the woman on the left side of image 1 with the traditional Chinese female painter from image 2. At the same time, preserve the woman on the right and the complete gallery scene from image 1. Overall, the result is pretty good. For the second version, I made the prompt much more detailed. In addition to specifying the left side position, I described the original character's short hair, white suit, and exhibition brochure. I also described the woman in the green dress on the right in detail, and specified that her drinking glass, hairstyle, and the background must all be preserved. However, this much longer prompt didn't produce any obvious advantage. So, longer prompts are not always better. As long as the prompt can accurately identify the person you want to edit, that's usually enough. Now let's look at one of the biggest new features, character sheets. A character sheet can provide the model with a character's front 3/4, side, and back views in a single image. This is the original image I used, and I asked the model to generate a 2x2 character sheet. The 4 panels contain her front view, 3/4 view, left side profile, and back view. Keep in mind that this character sheet was also generated with Krea too. There are a few useful tricks here. First, when generating this kind of character sheet, I recommend removing the background beforehand. This reduces interference from the scene and helps the model focus on the character. Second, Don't generate the final image at too low a resolution, because the layout is split proportionally into 4 panels. The resolution of each smaller image is also reduced relative to the full image. As for the prompt, there's no need to overdescribe it. Focus on stating that you want a 2x2 layout with 4 viewpoints, then specify which view should appear in each position. We can now use this character sheet as a reference to generate 3 new scenes. Take a look at the first one. It's a facial close-up beside the window of a restaurant on a rainy night. The scene, lighting, and clothing have all changed, but the character's face shape, facial features, and hairstyle remain fairly stable. The second image places her in a bright garden AFA and expands the framing to show her from the knees up. The clothing, pose, and props have all been changed, but the character's identity is still recognizable. The third image uses a profile composition close to 90 degrees, directly matching the left side view in the character sheet. The bridge of the nose, jawline, and layered long hair all carry over naturally. Finally, let's do a quick VAE comparison. Personally, I don't think this part is especially important, so I only tested 2 options, QW Image VAE and WAN 2.1 VAE. Comparatively speaking, WAN 2.1 VAE looks slightly better, but the difference isn't substantial. You don't need to worry too much about this setting. To sum it all up, Krea 2 Identity Edit version 1.2 adds a lot of new functionality. In my opinion, it is currently the most powerful Krea 2 image editing model. It can swap faces, replace heads, and replace entire people. It can also apply localized reference enhancement through Refi Boost, while the mask and character. Sheet features can serve as additional tools for strengthening reference information. Compared with version 1.1, version 1.2 offers much more practical value, so I strongly recommend giving it a try. That's all for today. Follow me and become someone who truly understands AI.